Okay. And she's also my daughter. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. This is the most important visit I have with patients. Everything you see as far as the practice goes is a side effect of this appointment. You came in with issues and you wanted to feel better, you wanted to get healthy, and you wanted to see what we could do to help you get better. So my goal on that day one was to get to the cause of the problem, to find out why you're having the problems you're having, and then what needs to be done to correct it. So that was visit 2. So visit 1 was all about what's wrong. Visit 2 is, okay, we found it. Now, what do we need to do to correct it, and what testing can we do to make sure we know we're on the right path? This visit is a decision-making visit for you. Okay, I know what's wrong. I know how to correct it. So this is the most important visit because this is where you decide on what comes next. That's your decision. When we go back, look at your x-rays. I won't show them up here. I'll go back and you'll know exactly what you're looking at. I won't even talk a whole lot. I'll just simply ask you, what do you see? What's that doing to your body, to your health? And would you like my help? If so, then I'll go over my recommendations and we go over the cost and we go over how all that works. All right. Now, when it comes to cost, we have to be different here. All right, because I don't know if you've been through this before or not, but you don't want to be like this lady. All right. I know that cost is a concern. Okay, I understand that, but you don't want to go here. And I honestly tell you, and you know this already, every dollar you spend here saves you thousands of dollars out there. Now that may sound kind of weird, but this lady here had headaches. She went to the emergency room for 2 days, got all kinds of, I think they turned every machine on they had in the building on this lady, okay? And they couldn't find out why she's having headaches. And maybe you've gone through this. She left 2 days later from the emergency room with a bag full of, guess what? Medication, yeah. Still having headaches. Still didn't find out what was wrong, right? But then they sent her a bill for $45,486.97. Now, do they expect this bill to get paid? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Did they get to the cause of the problem? No. Did they do anything to correct the problem? No. And so she eventually found her way to a Maximized Living office, got the same similar testing you got. She began the care. The chiropractor started correcting her nervous system and applying the 5 essentials, and her headaches went away. So my question is, who should get the $45,000 check? The medical doctors or the doctor that actually got to the cause of the problem and got it corrected? So in here, you're going to see that this is not a waste of time or waste of money. This is worth getting your life back. This poor lady was suffering. Had she not found Maximized Living, she might have been that 6 out of 10 going bankrupt because of bills like this, right? And so that's why we have to be different. We have to get to the cause of the problem. I understand when you walk in here, this place looks a lot different. And so I want to help you get better. The first thing you understand is, what are you doing right now that you may not be aware of that's causing more of the pain, more of the headaches, more allergies, and all the other things you marked off when you came in? Because if I was to ask you what is health, how do you know if you're healthy or not? What would you say?
I mean, probably good diet, exercise.
Good diet, yeah. So let's make a list here. So we've got diet. We've got, I'll put detoxing, because you got to keep the poisons out of your body. You got to exercise the right way, and you got to have a good attitude, right? So those would be 4 essentials to being healthy. And if you did this, how do you think that would make you feel?
Probably, like they said, a lot more energy.
A lot more energy, right?
Energy.
So basically, like yourself, a lot of people will judge their health based on how they feel. Okay? That's the thing. So if I feel fine, then I must be healthy. Well, here's the problem. That's not the whole truth. And you've been lied to as far as the rest of the truth. Because here's the thing. If health is based on how you feel, then what about cancer, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, okay? Would you say these diseases are getting better or getting worse in our community or our city or in your family? Is the cancer rates going up or going down, you think?
I have no idea. Probably up with all the chemicals.
Yeah, they're going up. All these diseases are getting worse. Now, how do you think you feel until you get diagnosed with it?
Probably good.
You feel fine.
Yeah.
So all these diseases that nobody wants, and I'll show you that what we found on your x-ray, if not corrected, will lead you right to this. So that's why you don't want, that's why we want to get this corrected. But the thing is that these diseases are all getting worse, and for the first 5, 10, or 15, 20 years of them growing in your body, you feel perfectly fine. Now, if you had the remote chance of this growing inside your body, would you want to know?
Yeah.
Yes. When would you want to know?
As soon as possible.
That's why this is the most important visit I have with people, okay? It's kind of like this. If I was to, this is pretend you have a hose, a garden hose right now in front of us. And it's going to the garden. Those green tables are the garden. If I step on the hose, what's going to happen to your garden?
It's gonna die.
It's going to die. Does it die overnight?
No.
No. So when is your garden in trouble? The minute it starts to look bad and smell bad and feel bad, or the minute I stepped on the hose?
Step on the hose.
That's what I want you to understand. Because that's the urgency about tonight's visit. Is it's not someday, it's been happening to you, and it's happening to you right now. So I don't want to wait till anymore the garden gets brown or gets shut down. I want to get the pressure off the hose now, because if we do that, then what in the water, we get enough water now going back to your garden, what's going to happen to your garden?
It'll heal.
Exactly. Every single time. But I'm going to show you that your x-ray we took is the only medical test in the world that shows us whether there's actually damage on the hose or not, long before you get the diagnosis or sickness or disease if it shows up. Okay? And here's why I can make that statement. Science says the difference between feeling good and feeling bad, or being healthy, and being unhealthy, is all in the power of your nerve system. It's all in your spine. Let me explain why. Birth, okay? I'm sorry, not birth. Conception is the beginning of health. Conception is when all of a sudden, boom, life got turned on in your mom's belly. And then from conception to birth, okay, what was going on inside that belly?
It's developing.
Developing, and life, and making sure your nose goes right here and not over here, your ears, your hands, okay? So the first organ system formed inside that womb, okay, was the brain and the spinal cord. So your brain and spinal cord then, for the next 9 months, tells the heart to develop, the lungs to develop, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, the spleen, the stomach, the digestive system, in your case, the male organs, the prostate, the bladder, the adrenals, the kidneys. Every organ in your body is like fruit growing off a tree, okay? And your brain and spinal cord controlled all of that inside the womb. It also told your muscles where to go and how to bend and how to work. And it also controlled your emotions, when to laugh, when to cry. So science says that every cell, every organ, every tissue, every function, everything you need to keep your garden green, okay, comes off the brain and spinal cord. So think of it this way. Your organs, your muscles, your emotions are all parts of the garden. And you want your garden to be green, right?
Yep.
Well, here's what the World Health Organization says. That health is when your organs or your garden is green, or they're working, functioning at 100%. When everything is working like it was inside the womb, that's what makes you healthy. And that's what function is all about. And I would call that the garden's green and producing life. Make sense? So that's what science shows. Science also says you have so much power in your brain and spinal cord that once you're born, it doesn't leave you, that it will power you and keep you healthy for up to 120 years. So that you don't have to get any of this stuff, and you can stay healthy for up to 120 years. That's what you're programmed for. Now, is it happening out there? No. Here's why. Here's the missing ingredient, because yes, diet, detox, exercise, and mindset are key to being healthy. But I will tell you, there's people who are doing these things very good, and they're still getting these diseases. You know anybody who ate organic food and got breast cancer? You know, maybe died? Or a marathon runner who went out for a routine run and had a heart attack and died? Now people would say, oh, he's so healthy, but healthy people don't get cancer and die. Healthy people don't have heart attacks and die. Okay, healthy people are, because why? Because the heart was created to function at 100%. Here's the missing ingredient. We have to add your spine, and then now we've got 5 essentials that really now deliver the promise. Let me show you why. As your brain and spinal cord was developing everything in your body, these bones started growing around the spinal cord. Okay? So, and they're designed and formed just right, so they have to be straight from the front. So your posture should be straight from the front. And from the side, they have to have 3 good curves, so for strength, for flexibility, and to allow no tension on the hose so that the brain can send all the messages, 100% of the messages, down the spinal cord, out the nerves, and if that's flowing without any interference, then you're healthy. Your garden's green. Make sense? So that's how you were created. Your spine protects this hose of life, if you would. And as long as it's straight, as long as that's 3 good curves, then you're going to do that very well. Now, what happens though if one of these vertebrae gets twisted out of position? What are your vertebrae now doing to your nerves? Pinching them. Now, what do you suppose would happen to the flow of life that the brain is trying to send out these nerves right here? Would it be increased or decreased?
Decrease.
Isn't it kind of like stepping on the hose? Yeah. Now here's the thing. Subluxation, vertebrae pinching on a nerve, silently killing off whatever that nerve goes to. Just like I step on the hose, you may not notice it for days, but we agreed that garden's dead. It's dying, it's shutting down. Modern medicine says wait till the garden starts to go bad and start hiring the fancy landscapers and the fancy fertilizer. I'm saying, no, let's do the right testing. Let's check the hose first, get the pressure off the hose. Your body will do what it's supposed to. Why? Because it did it in the womb. But we got to make sure there's no pinching on the nerves by these vertebrae. Because once these vertebrae get out of alignment, then they begin to grind on the spinal cord, grind on the nerves, cause a disease process to attack the vertebrae, the nerves, and everything these nerves go to. When do you think the first time you ever had a vertebrae twisted out of alignment?
Probably pretty early.
Pretty early, yeah. A lot of people think, well, it was the first time I ever hurt. And what a German scientist, Dr. Gutmann, proved is that 80% of us get a vertebrae out of alignment, which starts pinching on the hose, right? Remember that? Within the first year of life. So literally what I saw in your x-rays could have been going on for at least the last 20 plus years. Okay? That's the thing I want you to understand, right? 20?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I look at that, and this has been going on possibly for 20 years, how long does it take to get this thing corrected? It didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just happen when you started having headaches. There's a reason why you're having what you're having. There's a reason why it's not going away. Okay? And so I'm going to tell you specifically, according to science, the reason why you're here going here is because of your spinal cord, not because of enough medication or anything else that you're using, okay? Let me show you even a little more. This research says that if you get that hump on your back, okay, so this is how your posture is supposed to be. Remember, brain, spinal cord? If I get this big hump on my back, what's it doing to my spinal cord and nerves?
Pinching them.
Good or bad? It's pinching, right?
Yeah.
What's it going to do to my garden?
Kill it.
Yeah, and that's what they said. The worse the hump got on your back, the faster you died. The sicker you were, the more disease you had, the more organs they tried to take out of you, the more medicine you had, the more bankrupt you were because of all the hospital bills. And that's what they proved. This article said, okay, think of it this way. If science says that your spine has to have 3 good curves like this from the side, and because of slips or trauma, the birth process, doctor pulls too hard, vacuum extraction, forceps, right? Or your brother pushes you down the stairs, or your sister, right? Okay. What happens is that you'll begin to lose lumbar curvature either in your neck or in your lower back. So think about it. If it's supposed to be like this or like this, and I x-ray you and yours is like that or like that, again, broken record, I know, but what are your vertebrae doing to your nerves?
Pinching.
Yeah. Is that going to cause your body to build health or build disease?
Disease.
When?
As soon as it starts.
As soon as it starts. That's what, like, now, or has been for years, depending on your measurements, right? And so that's what they found out. They found out that if you lose the curves in your spine, what they found out is that causes sickness, disease, and early death process to happen to your body. Again, it says, medical studies reveals connection between life, death, and spinal curves. That if you lose those, it takes the garden with it, right? And then finally, Dr. Windsor, way back in 1921, he did autopsies on these people who had died of different diseases. They died of stomach disease, lung disease, liver disease, gallstones, pancreas, spleen, kidneys, uterus, heart disease. Here's what he found, and I find this really cool. Heart disease. All 20 cases with heart problems had nerves being pinched right here in the spine, all of them. All stomach disease cases had nerves being pinched right here in this area, okay? All pancreas diseases had nerves being pinched right here. All bladder prostate diseases had nerves being pinched right here. So understand, right now, the nerves being pinched, subluxated, may be causing symptoms, but if we don't get those corrected, then it does spread to the cancer, the heart disease, the diabetes, and the Alzheimer's. That bad neck, that bad back, those symptoms lead to worse symptoms or worse things happening to your garden. Does that make sense? And lots of times we're thinking it's how we feel, and lots of times it happens the day we're born. We just don't know it because we're losing power. So the minute you're born, usually, but not always, but the minute that vertebrae gets out of alignment, think of it this way, that now your body starts to lose its power, its connection. Does that make sense? And 0% connection means death. Means the organ doesn't work anymore, which proved what Dr. Windsor found. So, if spine out of alignment causes sickness, disease, and early death process to happen to your organs, your muscles, and your emotions, does that make sense? Okay? If we stop and we untwist that vertebrae and then correct the spine, guess what now keeps happening? Now it starts to happen. Let me say it this way. If I get off the hose and stay off the hose, what does your garden get to do? Regrow. That's what I want for you. Okay? And there's a process of healing that we want to take you through in order to do that. All right? And again, this is what science shows. When we adjust that top bone in your neck, that one that goes right to the heart, take the pressure off the nerve. This article said that was more powerful for your blood pressure than the top 2 leading medications. Well, that makes sense. Turn the hose back on is better than some of the best fertilizer out there, right? Yeah, because the grass knows what to do. So understanding when you get adjusted right here in your neck, that's the best thing for your heart. Why? Because that's what made your heart in the beginning. It made it. It knows how to fix it, right? This other article said that people were worried about their genes, okay? So when you can have genes for cancer or heart disease or diabetes or Alzheimer's, you can be genetically programmed for that because your great-great-grandfathers didn't live a healthy life. But you don't have to get it, and here's how it works. If a police officer walks into a high school, does he usually shoot his gun? He doesn't. But if the environment goes bad, guess what he's doing? He's pulling out his gun, he's protecting, right? He's shooting. If you get a subluxation and you start shutting down the power inside the body, then that's going to release the bad genes that cause disease. That's what causes the garden to shut down and go brown, right? Or the organs start to disease. But if we change your spine and get it corrected, and change your diet and detox and exercise and change your mindset, what they found is that the bad disease genes shut off and the healthy genes turn on. So now you got more health protecting you from all these crazy things that people say it's your genes. It's not your genes. It's your level of health. It's a level of life you got going to your garden, okay? And then think about this for a second. We're on a mission to help everybody live the best life possible. Well, you live in Korea or you live next door, right? So think about it for a second. If we did something to take the pressure off your nerves, okay, got you healing the right direction, so we started a corrective program with your spine, and then I taught you what food was your friend, how to keep poisons out of your body, how to exercise literally 12 minutes a day, and really work on, okay, what are your goals and dreams? If I did that with you, and we started doing that for the next 5 years, what would your life look like in 5 years?
Probably be a lot healthier.
Does that make sense? I'm not trying to blow sunshine up. I'm just saying, if I took pressure off the hose and I kept a steady stream of water to the grass, that grass would probably be in good shape in 5 years, right? Well, that's what all the research is showing. That when people come into this office, like yourself, okay, 3 years, yeah. That do you spend more or less now on medication?
Less.
Have you been to the hospital or doctor less or more?
Less.
Yeah. And what we're doing is just keeping her healthy. Now, there's not a perfect, but it's a whole lot better than it would have been, right? And even with you living in Korea, we're doing something to keep the grass green. And the statistics say 60% had fewer hospital admissions, 85% had less pharmaceutical costs. So what I'm trying to show you is that the science lines up. Sickness and disease starts in the spine and nerve system. And then also, what if your diet's bad, you're toxic, you don't exercise, and you lost all hope? That's a perfect storm for sickness, disease, early death, okay? But unfortunately, what are you told on TV? What are you told in the news? Where does health come from? What does the medical machine want you to think health comes from? What? Medication, right? From a bottle of pills. So, first of all, the doctors tell you, well, how you feel dictates how healthy you are. We know that's not scientific anymore. But then when you do finally feel bad, you do go to the doctor, and what do they normally give you? They give you the pills, right? They give you maybe a shot in the neck or something, or a shot for the allergies, or a shot for pain, right? Or they do surgery. Well, listen, if my house is on fire, I want the fire department to come put it out. I'm not anti-medicine, but I'm going to show you in a minute how this is not going to make the grass go green. This is not going to fix the problem. I'm not against it. I'm just saying it ain't going to get you what you want. It's not going to deliver the promise. And you're going to spend thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars hoping for a cure, and you're never going to get it, right? I'm not questioning sincerity. I'm just questioning the map they gave you to try to get better. So here's the thing. This is the issue. They want you to believe that medicine comes from here. But when I read these articles, and there's more articles out today than there was 21 years ago, right? Now they get thrown at me. Marketing medicine. There is no incentive for companies to find problems with safety of a medication once it's approved. It's just downside risk. The results worry us. We find out a medication is unsafe when the bodies accumulate. Now, how many people do you know will pull up to Walmart or King Soopers pharmacy and getting all the medication? And they're thinking, what? This is going to help me. This is going to save my life. They're never taught to check the hose. Science says check the hose. They're simply trying to find the right landscaper or the right fertilizer to make their life better. And unfortunately, bodies are accumulating. What makes me upset is with children, your generation, because you have doctors that are being paid by drug companies to tell you to take the medication or you're a bad person.